Am I the a-hole for ignoring my friend's phone calls after she invited herself, her spouse, her children, and her friends to my home for an impromptu barbecue without my permission? My friend is having a hard time with her spouse and really needs someone to be there for her while they work through their issues. We only just recently reconnected after not speaking for 4 years. Now, every time she calls, she asks me what I'm doing for the day or at that moment, and then invites herself, her family of 4, and some of her friends over to my house. Example 1 for clarity: Friday was her spouse's birthday. Monday, she told me her plan was to take him to dinner. Then she calls me Friday morning asking me what I was doing. I told her I was just watching a movie on my couch. Then she says, I know it's last minute, but I want to come over and barbecue at your house. She said the kids could play together and we could hang out and have some drinks. I hesitated initially and then told her that I didn't really have a lot of meat here, nor was my home company ready. She responded that she would grab some more food and do all of the cooking. Then I said okay. I cleaned up a little bit and then I received a second call. She excitedly told me that she invited her guy friend and he may bring a friend for me to talk to, and a female friend of hers was also coming. I was so shocked that she was trying to throw a party, not just come over and hang out with just her family like she implied during the first call. Her family already was 4 people that I was not expecting, which would have made a total of 8 people, including my own children. I have only met 2 of the 3 people she invited. She did not even ask if she could invite anyone else to my home or give out my address. Luckily, I got a call on the other line and told her I'd call back. 2 hours passed by and she called me repeatedly. I decided to text her that something came up and I can't host a party for her husband. I did not receive a response. I waited another 2 hours and then called her to see how the barbecue party was going. She told me she didn't even have the barbecue party. Like what a fact? I asked her why she didn't ask her friends to come to her apartment since she has her own barbecue grill, and why didn't she at least go out to dinner like she planned originally. She literally didn't even answer the first question, but said she didn't want to spend a lot of money going out to eat. Am I the a-hole for making up an excuse to end the call and then ignoring all of her repeated calls to confirm?
Your home is not a public venue that she can just invite anyone to. Not the a-hole.
A lot of public venues require reservations, even free ones.
And reservations made well in advance, not morning of.
Absolutely, that was one of the twists in the most poorly planned wedding I've ever seen. They tried to book an extremely popular park in a tourist destination at the height of tourist season 2 days before the wedding. The wedding didn't ultimately happen.
Not the a-hole, just say no. Sorry, that will not be possible. And there is a reason you did not talk to her for 4 years. I would go back to no communication.
People would avoid so much trouble in life if they would just learn to say no, without excuses, without explanations or justifications. Just a plain no sometimes works wonders.
The problem is the receiver of the no. I had a friend years ago who just wouldn't accept it. There always had to be a reason or explanation. This was problematic and manipulative. I think my friend enjoyed watching me try to come up with a reason. For me, no was enough. And I never had a good enough excuse other than I didn't like X. Once clear of that friend, the world was more normal where no was no.
Yes, that's always going to be tricky. However, I've learned that just saying, because it's within my rights to say no, does the trick a lot of times when they insist on an explanation.
Not the a-hole, this is a friend? She sounds like a parasite. She's using you for your place. There was a reason you didn't speak. Is this a friendship worth keeping?
Parasite. That's the word I was looking for.
Parasite, parasitus, was an accepted role in Roman society in which a person could live off the hospitality of others in return for flattery, simple services, and a willingness to endure humiliation. At least in ancient times, parasites knew their place.
Am I the a-hole for telling my neighbor to grow up, get a life, and get the fuck over the fact that I painted my house a color he doesn't like? I bought a house in a community without an HOA. I wanted my home to be my home, and that includes making it look the way that I want. I also chose a neighborhood that already has fun, colorful houses instead of just plain earth tones. I finally got to the point where I could repaint my house. I picked a soft peachy color with sage, blue, and soft and dark pink accents. Fun and colorful without being too out there. I think if you Google colors blue sage peach, you'll see a similar palette. My neighbor Paul fucking hates it and has been complaining since we started the project. He also made his opinion known that he hates our front lawn, lots of wildflowers and sunflowers, fun garden flags, a little free library, etc. Each and every time, I've told him that I don't care. Truly, I don't. And I've suggested a few times that maybe he'd be happier in a HOA community that has control over everything and forces people into having earth-toned homes. Paul got angry when I suggested that and said he's lived in his home for 15 years and shouldn't have to move. I told him okay, well you'll have to learn to live with a little color. Last weekend I was putting in pavers that my niece and I had painted together. They're all things like ladybugs, turtles, birds, etc. in fun colors. I adore them and my niece is so excited she gets to be a part of my home. Paul came over to complain yet again, saying it was all an eyesore, and my niece was here. So I just told him, it's time for you to grow up and get the fuck over what I'm doing with my house. He got even pissier and told me that I have no right to talk to him this way, do I know who I'm talking to, etc. I told him to just go away and get a fucking life. If he has so much free time to bitch and moan about a colorful house, maybe he should get a hobby. He stormed off, calling me a nasty piece of work. My niece was cracking up on the side. For the record, no one in my family is uptight. We really don't care about cursing. I know some people still clutch their pearls over it around kids. She's 15, but I'm sure she says worse. Anyway, one of the other neighbors came to tell me that he's been flapping his yap about how disrespectful I am to talk to him like that. She told me that she knows he's a pain, but that he has been in the neighborhood forever and it's worth being nice to him. I don't know. Is telling him to get a life that big of a deal? Am I the a-hole?
Not the a-hole. The house's color scheme sounds gorgeous, something we'd have here in our Inman Park neighborhood. My guess is your neighbor is more upset about the kitschy items in your front yard than the color of your house. Maybe you need some pink flamingos.
Paul, it is Paul, right? I want to make sure that I know who I'm talking to. I'm gonna make a deal with you. Every time you're over here bitching about my house or yard, I'm adding 2 pink flamingos to the decor. Every week that you go without bitching, I will take 1 flamingo down. If I hear that you've been talking about me to the neighbors, Duck Anna is coming out onto the porch. Questions?
Next time he comes by with a complaint, "Hi Paul, I put some serious thought into your criticisms over my house. I think we could come to an agreement where if you start to pay my mortgage and my bills, then I will happily adjust the aesthetic of my home to your liking. We could start August 1st? Does that work for you? Otherwise, as the person paying the bills here, I'm going to continue doing whatever I want with my property, and will ask you to not approach me or my property again for this matter." Or a simple, "Get FD Paul." Up to you. Either way, not the a-hole.
I will put up a board in front, trespassers and neighbor, name, are not allowed in this property.
No trespassing. Paul, I'm talking about you specifically.
Not the a-hole, some people just don't understand when you try to be polite with them. So it is not your fault that you told them to F off, it is their fault. I bet other people would just fall down on their knees and praise this neighbor and do whatever he wants, yeah right. I am always very polite, but if other people do not understand or don't want to understand, I become very rude. This saves me a lot of time in future because these people know what I will tell them, and they don't even try to pull more crap on me as it just doesn't work.
I have such a pet peeve of people being rude then getting completely incensed when you match their energy. He expects to come talk down to someone for their house choices, but imagine if the roles were swapped. He would never put up with that. Some people never learn to not dish out what they can't take.
I bet my very last French fry that this is the kind of dude who went ballistic during the pandemic when restaurants went takeout only because he couldn't harass waitresses for a few months.
Am I the a-hole for reminding my friend that just because she's poor, doesn't mean I am? I'm a 20 female, enrolled in the laundry program at school, where I pay a lump sum, and they do my laundry for me all year. It's very popular at my university, and they pick it up from my dorm weekly. My friend, 21 female, is weirdly obsessed with this and constantly comments on it for some reason. She always comes over and sees my bag, and has some random comment to say. She'll say, "How could anyone pay for that?" To which I always say, why would I ever do something I don't want to, if I can just pay someone else to do it for me? I'm wondering if she's like this to everyone, because that would explain why she has few friends. Almost everyone I know uses the laundry program. Her unwanted comments make me like her less. She did it again, and was like, what a waste of money. The laundry program is ridiculously expensive, and no one can afford that. I simply said that I don't find it expensive at all, and that she finds it expensive because she's poor. I'm not, so I'll continue paying for the program. She's furious that I called her poor. But she is. It's just a fact. Am I the a-hole?
Everyone sucks here. She clearly is jealous and resentful, and you clearly are unempathetic, snotty, and not caring or savvy enough to handle this with any wisdom or grace. Pointing out someone's lack of resources isn't kind. Did you earn that money, or it is your parents who actually pay? I'm surprised you have any friends, too.
My thoughts exactly. I really hate when offspring count their parents' wealth as their own and likewise hold a parent's lack of wealth against someone. When you are in school, your brain and your personality are your currency because none of you are earning. Obviously, there are exceptions. Just stop judging people for things beyond their control. Especially young people. There is so much anxiety in this age group because of this kind of behavior.
Children of the wealthy, born on third base and think they hit a triple.
Everyone sucks here. This is not hard. I hate doing laundry, and I'm lucky I have the money to hire somebody else. I got it. You think it's a waste of money. I don't care what you think about my laundry. Stop giving me shit about it. You can shut her down hard without calling her poor.
Exactly. The friend was being annoying, but OP could have handled it so much better.
That's because OP is entitled. This is easy, everyone sucks here. OP definitely sucks more though, because what she said is humiliating. Reeks of ugh, those poors are at it again with their complaining. If you need money, just go ask mommy and daddy like I do.
Is this real? Everyone sucks here, but you're definitely the bigger a-hole. For many people, college is the first time they're exposed to truly different lifestyles, economic class structure, and upbringings. You could both learn from each other. Neither of you chose the backgrounds you come from.
I was going to go with everyone sucks here, but after reading your incredibly entitled and self-absorbed comments, want you to know that you are leaning towards you are the a-hole, and boy are you in for a shock in life. You've been fortunate enough to have generous parents who are willing to support you financially, but this is not the case for all people, even those from upper middle class families. My parents were wealthy and they held every dollar over my head. Not everyone has parents who are willing to help even if they can. You need to be more self-aware and empathetic towards other people. Be sensitive and kind, because life always comes full circle.
Am I the a-hole for telling a parent that their kid is weird when she pushed as to why my kid didn't want to be her friend? My family and I have moved states. It has been a hard move, especially for my oldest daughter, Caddy. She is in 6th grade. The area school district has a Facebook account that parents are a part of. I introduced myself on there a while ago. We put Caddy on the cross-country team and she has been making friends over the summer. I got a message from a parent last week asking to meet up and let the kids meet. They would be in the same grade and I thought it would be a good opportunity. We went yesterday at the local pool. I met Melanie and she wouldn't make eye contact, was very soft-spoken, and overall didn't seem to be paying attention. The kids were playing while I talked to the mom. She has always been in the area and was excited her kid was getting a friend. Caddy came up to me asking to leave since she wasn't feeling well. We left early and in the car she admitted to just wanting to get away from Melanie. She explained that Melanie freaked her out. She was very touchy, kept pushing her in the water, was whispering, saying things under her breath, would stare at people and make comments comparing people to bugs. I am still confused on what that means. Caddy told me she was uncomfortable and doesn't want to hang out with her again. The parent messaged me and asked when they could do it again. I told her the girls didn't mesh well and that we will have to decline. She then called me asking what I meant. I told her that Caddy wasn't interested in hanging out since they don't mesh together. I was trying to be polite about it. This went on for a while and she told me that they kids just needed to be around each other more. I told her no to that. It went on for a while. She asked to talk to my husband, which is when I snapped. I told her no and that I was trying to be polite, but your kid is weird. Melanie makes my kid uncomfortable, and I don't know what the hell is up with her, but we will not have another play date. She went on Facebook and it going around about how the new family are jerks. Seems to not be going anywhere, but I am wondering if I was a dick.
She asked to speak to your husband? As in, she thought that was the social equivalent of asking for the manager? Let me speak to the person in charge of you, basically? No, absolutely not. Not the a-hole. My guess would be that there's a reason why her daughter evidently doesn't have any friends, and at least some of it originates with the mother.
Right? That part would send me into a rage. Are you kidding me? My husband is not my keeper, nor does he have sole authority over this household. What year is this lady living in? LOL.
Not the a-hole. You tried to let her down lightly and she pushed it further. My suggestion would be to explain exactly what you did in this post about Melanie's specific behavior and not just call her weird. Having specifics might help her mom understand why she made Caddy uncomfortable. Or she'll make excuses for it, but at least you tried. I have a feeling others have been through this before, and that's probably why the post isn't doing as much damage as it would have otherwise.
Your kid is weird is an attack. Your kid's behavior makes my kid uncomfortable, and I'm not forcing her to be around someone that makes her uncomfortable. Is just standing up for your kid. OP did the right thing, just was careless with her wording.
To be fair, she did right. She tried to do it the diplomatic way the first 5 times, but that didn't work.
Not the a-hole. You respected your daughter's wishes and defended her. A child should not be forced to play with someone she doesn't like. You tried being polite. The mom wouldn't let it go and tried going over your head by wanting to talk with your husband. And now she is bashing you on Facebook. I would block her. Life's too short to deal with that.
There's a reason she pounced on you as the new person, trying to have the kids meet before school started. Honestly, I would have seen that as a red flag. But then her excitement over her kid getting a friend when they've been there? Her kid doesn't have friends for a reason.
Yeah, especially since the ladies' smear campaign against the family did not work. My guess is the rest of the group knows the deal. I have had to have some truthful conversations with my kids and how they might be perceived. For example, when one of my sons gets excited, he will talk about the subject for hours and not let anyone get a word in. He started throwing around, actually, anytime someone said anything, talked and practiced conversation flow with him. Can't just tell kids struggling to make friends they are perfect, and it's the other kids that are the problem. Sometimes it is them. Not the a-hole. She pushed you.
You defended your daughter. You are a good mom. She pushed after you tried to be polite and let her down gently. Not the a-hole.
Am I the a-hole for telling my fiancé that I'll wear makeup for the wedding if he does? I, 26 female, do not wear makeup. I experimented with it as a teen, but I hate the way it feels on my face and I just don't really see the point. My face is my face and I think it's a good one as is. My fiancé, 26 male, has never complained and has always said that I look beautiful without makeup. His mother and sisters think it's weird but no longer comment on it as I drew a very firm line in the sand about it early on. We are currently deep in wedding planning. I've picked out a dress and am making arrangements for a hairstylist and such for the big day. My mother-in-law said she would call a friend of hers that is a wonderful makeup artist and would probably cut us a deal. I said no thanks, I wasn't planning on makeup for the wedding as I never wear it. She tried to insist, saying that I would regret not wearing it when I saw the photos, but I held firm. I've seen myself in prom dresses and other fancy occasion pictures and have never wished I had worn makeup. The most I'm going to do is get a spa treatment so my skin looks its best. This upset mother-in-law and she got my fiancé involved. He asked if I would just wear makeup for the ceremony and pictures. I told him I want to look at my pictures and see me. He said it would still be me, just the best version of me. Which pissed me off, not going to lie, so I asked him if he was going to wear makeup to look like the best version of himself. He said no, so I told him that I will make him a deal. The only way I would wear makeup is if he also wore makeup tit for tat in a masculine style. I wear lipstick, he wears lipstick. I wear foundation, he wears foundation. His can be completely neutral, but he has to wear it for the day and do the test run and everything the stylist wants. He said I was being unreasonable but couldn't come up with a reason why the pictures would look better if I wore makeup but not him, so he stormed off. Sister-in-law sent me a text telling me I was delusional if I didn't think I needed makeup and to suck it up for one day. Most of my girlfriends are on my side and world's best MOH is ready to throw hands, but some people think it's usual to wear makeup for formal occasions and I'm being precious about it. My brother thinks my conditions were emasculating to my fiancé. Am I the a-hole?
Not the a-hole. Also, be careful of doing a spa treatment or anything different to your face routine. The last thing you want is to break out right before your wedding.
I do the same thing every other month, so I know it's safe. I just decided to schedule one right before the wedding because my skin feels amazing afterward and I figured I'd get a massage and some other things done for relaxation while I'm there.
Fuck the makeup. You're about to marry a dude who lets the opinions of his mother and sister affect his relationship. Why do you need to appease his mother on your wedding day? Why are the demands and wishes of his mother and sister more important than yours? What's supposed to be the happiest day of your life, you're gonna start your marriage with your fiancé taking his mother's side instead of yours. Be prepared for your opinions to be pushed aside for your future monster-in-law once you start having babies. Good luck, OP. Not the a-hole.
Married a guy like that. Big mistake. Huge. Lasted 6 years.
I learned something today, so I really like words. I often joke I collect them. This post got me thinking, what is the female version of emasculate? There really isn't one. Closest out there is objectified, but that's not really the same because that's stripping away someone's humanity. To emasculate is to strip away one's masculinity, insinuating they are now womanly, and that's apparently a bad thing. It's fascinating and telling to me that there isn't a direct counterpart of emasculate. Not to mention any man that is photographed filmed for a living is wearing makeup. I don't understand where your request supposedly strips away his masculinity. I don't understand how your fresh face will somehow look horrendous, while Hub's fresh face is totally acceptable. Not the a-hole, and I think it's a fair compromise. You aren't asking you wear smoky eyes and Taylor Swift red lips.
Off-topic tangent here, but if you haven't already thought about this, you may find it interesting. Consider the difference in the meaning of the verbs to mother and to father. To mother a child means to care for them. To father a child means to create them. EW.
Wow, his comment was super out of line, but it sounds like it's coming from his mother and not him. He knew the kind of woman he was proposing to. And I'm assuming you two have done something fancy nice together where you didn't wear makeup. He's letting the stress of the day and family pressure get to him, which, while understandable, isn't forgivable if he's going to transfer that to you, OP. Not the a-hole. Tell him he needs to drop this, and if the pressure from his mother continues, tell her she's out of the wedding if she can't do anything helpful and only cause further strife between you two on what should be a joyous day. Remind her this isn't her wedding, it's yours, and if she feels the need to continue to insert herself, she will be removed. Why they care what your face looks like is beyond me. Maybe they can just wear extra makeup to compensate.
I would take this a step further. If he lets the pressure from his mother continue to impact him, he needs to be out of the wedding. That will not stop through marriage. He needs a backbone now, or it is doomed to be a marriage of 3, where the wife has her opinion and argues it with husband and mom each time. Not a good situation.
Am I the a-hole for my refusal to attend my sister's wedding? Older sister, 41 female, is getting married to her partner of 3-ish years in a month. Older sister and her partner both have children. My sister has a 14-year-old boy and 10-year-old girl. Her partner has a 14-year-old girl, 13-year-old boy and 11-year-old girl. The relationship is controversial. My nephew, 14, has been having trouble with the 14-year-old girl since the 3rd grade, and this actually escalated when they were doing virtual classrooms. She would write a lot of insults about my nephew and used the voice feature to target my nephew. But still, my sister and her partner started a romantic relationship and even moved in together. My nephew expressed a lot of unhappiness about this. So did his grandparents, bio father's parents. He's not involved, but they were always very generous in helping my sister with my nephew. My sister stopped all contact with the paternal grandparents as a result of them speaking up. When my sister and her partner got engaged, my nephew didn't take it well. There was a public scene where he told everyone present that she was marrying his bully's dad and didn't give a shit about him. My sister was furious. Nephew was devastated that his mom was marrying her partner, even knowing how he'd feel. My sister didn't want to hear from anyone, including me, that it was a bad idea and she risked losing her son. She told me he didn't get to dictate her life and they'd deal with the bullying, but he was being unreasonable about everything. I told her my nephew deserved space away from the girl and she told me he can't pick. His family and siblings fight sometimes. 2 months ago my nephew ran away. He was gone for 2.5 weeks and we were searching everywhere. He'd wanted to go to his grandparents but worried they'd get into trouble. CPS intervened when he was found and my nephew was removed from my sister's home and was given a placement with his grandparents, which was his first choice. I talked to him since and he said he was glad he was removed. He said he had been prepared to keep running away and he told the social worker that and more. We're in touch frequently and I get to visit him. My sister could visit but my nephew doesn't want to see her. But she's proceeding with everything like normal. We fought over her picking the relationship over nephew. She told me I'll never understand. My invite came in the middle of all this and I RSVP'd no. I made it clear I would not attend this wedding after everything that's happened. My sister and parents told me I should put aside the family troubles and attend or risk the relationship forever. I told them I stand by my nephew over my sister. Am I the a-hole?
Not the a-hole. Good on you for standing your ground. I'm not sure why she'd want you there either with how easily she cuts off people for disagreeing with her decisions. Your sister will probably just live however she wants, unfortunately. Just continue to be a good support system for your nephew. The relationship between him and your sister will be a consequence of her own actions, and it's on her to own up to it.
She wants them there for appearances. After all, what will people say if they don't look like one big happy family? Not really sure how she sees that working if her son isn't there, but
her son missing from the event can be chalked up as a-hole teenager being an a-hole. Her son and OP missing. People are going to talk and connect the dots. Not the a-hole, and, wow. My parents would have boycotted the wedding, too, not tried to get OP to play happy family.
Not the a-hole. And may I suggest making fun plans with your nephew on the wedding day weekend instead? It's likely going to be a very hard day for him. Having his family around to remind him that he is loved and supported, and doing something to take his mind off what his mom is doing. So, he has a fun memory of the day instead, is likely to be something that makes a difference and sticks with him for a long time. It will completely destroy your relationship with your sister and strain your relationship with other members of your family when they learn of it. But sometimes it's best to let the trash take itself out of your life when it offers.
Totally agree. Take the nephew to do something fun that day.
And post pictures.
What do you think of these stories? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel to see more interesting videos.